People will give you all kind of advice for producing beats faster and better. Some of them will tell you that the best approach is grinding 24/7, some of them will tell you that the best approach is some magic 4-hour morning routine. But I don't want to give you any of that. So this video is not some theory about approaches, about styles of producing that I heard of. This is only about my own experiences with producing, about my own approaches, ideas for producing as effectively as possible, okay? So I'm Mordalski and I will help you make your first case selling beats. Let's start with the worst approach in my opinion, which is late night producing, okay? Even if you're kind of a night owl, it doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. This is producing since like 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. at night, okay? And all other approaches could work for you. In this case, I don't recommend it, don't do it, you will waste your time. So I just decided to list it, okay? You will get distracted ridiculously easily, okay? So in the evening, you are the most likely to get some message from your friend, yo bro, let's go on Discord, let's play some games. Or yo bro, let's go out, let's hang out, let's go to this party. You will get your message from your family, from your girlfriend, from anything. Okay, there will be some kind of thing, some kind of problem or some kind of interesting thing to do in the evening. There will always be something in like this evening or early night more interesting than just sitting and producing. So yeah, you will get distracted so easily, and generally at those hours you are just way more likely to get distracted and be less focused because you are tired after a whole day. Even if you're some kind of guy who wakes up in the middle of the day at 3 p.m, you are anyway tired at this 8 p.m. at 2 a.m. So you will be very likely to just start doing anything but work. Still, this is not some theory, I'm talking about my own experience here. So when I used to produce in late night, it was always, I used to lie to myself, yeah, I'm on this great grind, I'm producing whole night. But the truth was, I produced like 2 average beats for like 5 hours, and the rest of the time was watching YouTube videos, playing some games, texting my friends, texting my girlfriend, anything, okay? Generally, nothing similar to productivity. This is so easy to just start doing something stupid instead of work, instead of producing at late night, okay? Even if you want to argue with me and tell me that you got in the morning, school, work, anything, I don't care. You need to then use some other approach because late nights will not work. Just don't do that, you will waste your time, you will fuck up your sleep too, so it's not worth it. Okay, so now let's go from one extreme to other extreme, which is producing very early in the morning. So I'm talking like 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. This is my favorite approach probably, because this hour really put you in this real grind mode. No, not in this BS grind mode where you're just sitting in your bedroom and watch motivational Andrew Tate speech. No, when you literally just wake up and do nothing but work. Pay attention to the fact it's not just like morning producing, I mean 8 a.m. producing on Saturday when you have no school. No, this is specifically strategy that I used when I still had school, for example, okay? So I had to go to school, I had to start getting ready at like 6 a.m. So I used to wake up at 5 a.m. or earlier and producing in that hour, okay? At that hour, very often was way more productive than anything that I could do after classes, for example, okay? The biggest advantage of producing in early morning is no distraction at all, because everybody still sleeps. All of your friends still sleep or they just barely woke up, okay? Your parents still sleep. Nobody will randomly call you, you won't get any random notifications, okay? Nothing is going on in the internet, nothing is going on in your school, in your family, no. You just wake up, everybody's still asleep, nobody does anything interesting, you just sit and work, there is nothing that could distract you. And the other thing, you put your 100%, because the problem with producing, for example, after your school or after doing training, after doing anything, you will not put your 100% this day, okay? When you do something first thing in the morning, and even if it wouldn't be so early, it anyway is your 100%. This is called Eat the Frog, by the way. This is from this one book from Brian Tracy. I don't have this book here specifically, but I read it in some ebook. It's really great. You should read it, and generally the concept is you should do your most important, most difficult task, which is producing for us. Don't lie to yourself, your most important task is producing first thing in the morning. And I generally love this rule. because it just gives you really big advantage. This 1 hour, this 1 or 2 hours in the morning are worth like 5 hours in the afternoon. Like, just trust me, bro. This is true. I tested it. This is not some theory. This is just facts from me. Obviously, to make it work, your sleep has to be like, you need to sleep like a machine at this point, because this is really easy. It is really easy to mix up this approach with sleep deprivation. But if you start to fuck up your sleep and doing this approach of 4 or 5 a.m., it will be not worth it. It will make no sense. So you just need to make sure you go to bed really early. I'm talking 9 p.m, maybe 10 p.m, literally maybe 10 p.m. 10 p.m is already extreme in this case. But if you just, after a few weeks, you understand, okay, it's not working for me, like this 4 a.m is too early, I am waking up more and more tired, and I'm getting less and less creative. In this case, I don't recommend it, because you just need to sleep like a machine, okay? When I try this approach with sleeping for 5 hours, it doesn't work. You need to just get good night's sleep for 7, 8 or maybe even 9 hours, then you wake up early and then it works. Because if you wake up sleep deprived, yeah, like you start producing some beats, but you just feel like you're in the wrong place at this point, like you're doing something wrong. It doesn't make sense at this point. So if you can maintain good sleep, this is the best. For me, definitely. If you can't maintain good sleep, this is not good at all, okay? But generally, very nice approach if you have some work or you have some school. Some people have to wake up at 5 a.m. for work. I understand it, but man, shut the fuck up. Like, okay, I woke up max at like 4 a.m, half past 4 a.m. This is like my earliest waking up, but there are people who wake up at 3 a.m. You can do that, okay? So if you really want to do that, even if you have this full-time job since 5 a.m, just shut the fuck up, wake up early and try to do this, because it could be really worth it, okay? Now let's talk about also very interesting approach, which is morning routine approach. I'm between high school and university, so I'm not like 100% full-time, but I'm working like a full-time in producing and recording this stuff. So this approach is really nice when you have weekends, like you have no school, like, you have some holiday, I don't know, you have free time from your work. Generally, when you have whole day for producing. In this case, you don't immediately rush to your computer to produce like at 5 a.m. No, you just wake up early anyway. Don't wake up at like 10 a.m. because it will not be beneficial for you in the long run. But try to wake up still kind of early and in the morning. Read some books, do some training, don't play any video games for your trust's sake, don't eat any food that will give you a brain fog, okay? So this is specific for everybody. Some people will get brain fog from this and some will get brain fog from that, but generally don't eat anything with sugar in the morning. So even if you drink coffee, don't put sugar in it. Don't drink some toast with jam. No, you should eat something like, just scrambled eggs in the morning. You should eat like, I know, maybe some bread, maybe something like that, but don't eat anything that will give you brain fog in the morning. Do your little morning routine. Like, for example, for me, it could be reading books, meditation, maybe go for a training, go for a run, go for a bike, go do some calisthenics. And after those 2 hours of this morning routine, then you take a quick cold shower and you start producing. And this kind of sounds like some guru, some TikTok guru of productivity, but generally, yeah, it's really nice. Sometimes it's really nice to do this if you are used to this lifestyle where you are grinding 24/7. Sometimes taking step back from that and try to produce with this nice morning routine. When you start producing and you already feel really nice because you read some books, you did some training, and you already feel like just great, it could benefit your production. And remember, it's better to do this one beat that will be just great and you will feel great during this than to make those 5 beats that are all average and you don't really feel even like producing them, okay? But also be careful with this, because for example, I like to do this approach sometimes from time to time, but generally the problem is, for example, I do long trainings because I'm into triathlon. So for me the training is like 2 hour, 3 hour, or even more on the bike, or 20 kilometers run. So if you do this kind of training and then you also try to read 100 pages like me, you will be tired, okay? When I did it recently, so I did 2 hour training and then I also read some book like 50 pages or more, I was just already tired when I started producing. And it like, you know, it seems silly because you should be tired after like 8 hours of work, but no, like if you do really training to the limit and then you also read books or also get invested, like, you know, intellectually, you will just get tired, and you shouldn't be tired when you start producing. So don't fall into this trap into too big morning routine. Just do a few little nice habits before producing, and this approach could be really beneficial for our production and also for our mental health. Okay, now let's talk about the afternoon approach. So afternoon is like, you know, from 2 p.m. anything to like 8 p.m. So we don't want to enter this evening zone, but it's already after school or after work. So I did a few really dope cookups in that. So it was already time after dinner, for example, time after I already recorded these videos, time after literally work, time after literally school. And it, like, I made those beats during, in this time. So yeah, I'm generally into morning producing, but if you have no other option and you really don't, and you are not capable of waking up really early, like at this 5 a.m., I think that it's pretty good because I tested it, and yeah, you producing at 5 p.m. could be beneficial. You need to avoid distractions. They are like your biggest enemy, okay? So even if you watch some internet at school, you generally get distracted and your brain enters some brain fog, okay? You then need to just stop using internet totally when you enter your house. You should maybe take a little nap, meditate for a second, read a book for a second, and then start producing. So you're not in this messy mode, in mind, where you're just thinking about 20 different things at the same time. In this case, you will not produce great beat, but if you really go offline, no distractions for a few hours, you can do great afternoon producing session. But generally, this afternoon approach is better when I did it, for example, after making content for my Instagram and after, I know, doing a big training in the morning. It makes you less fatigued. Because generally, it works after school, it works after your job. But if your job is like 8 hours, but totally it drains you like 100%. So you work in some factory on some, you know, on this tape, and you just, when you come back home, you just feel like trash. In this case, this approach will probably not work because you already put all your fucking soul into this job, and now you don't really have energy to produce beats. So in this case, I don't recommend it. Also, if you have really hard day in school, so you had few exams or some really hard classes, and you, I know, you had like some arguments in between classes, I don't know, anything like that. So if you had a really tiring day, it will not work. But if you, for example, have some short shift in your work, or you have some, you know, shorter day in the school, like, you know, instead of having like 8 classes, you have like 5. Yeah, in this case it will work. If you have something first in the day that drains you totally, it will probably not work. But yeah, if you do something not that tiring, this afternoon producing session could be your best friend, and in this case I could recommend it. Okay, so I told you something about all of my approaches, so now I would like to tell you what should you do. So if you have any like job, any work, like, which is kind of full-time, which is like 8 hours every day, you should probably go for Eat the Frog. So you should wake up at 5 a.m. and start producing. Obviously, if you can't maintain it and you have and there is just no way that you can wake up at 4 a.m. and I don't mean that you just feel uncomfortable waking up at 4 a.m. because this is stupid excuse, man. Because if you just wake up now at 5 a.m., there is no reason to not try 4 a.m., 3 a.m., okay? You can try it and it could work out for you. So just don't be a little bitch and complain that, no, I can't wake up at 4 a.m., it's too early. No, just test it out. And for 75% of people, it will work, okay? For 70% of people, you could wake up with a sunrise. There is no problem with that. This is really easy. You just need to change your biological clock for a little, okay? Now, if you don't have any like full-time job, full-time school, what I recommend is experimenting. So just test all of these approaches, check what is the best for you. So check your morning routine, check this afternoon. Definitely don't try late night producing because it doesn't make sense. But yeah, generally, if you have a lot of time because you have holiday, you have some weekend, or you just, I don't know, went full time into producing for a while, you just can test a lot of approaches. But generally the best in the long run for really improving your beats is just Eat the Frog. Because if you have some other task, for example, in this month, you want to focus on marketing, you want to focus on working with this artist, on mixing, mastering, I don't know, anything. In this case, you just put producing later in the day. If you want to really grind your beats, you want to push your beats to the next level, use Eat the Frog, okay? Use this really early morning producing. Generally, the most important thing is being well rested and feeling good mentally, physically while producing, okay? So, if you're sleep deprived, no matter what kind of approach you choose, you will not make good beats. So make sure you get good night's sleep. 7 hours is minimum. In our profession, I recommend literally 9 hours. 9 hours will benefit you, man. Sleep as much as you can, literally. Because in producing beats, there is no point in sitting for like 10 hours straight and grinding on my stuff. It will not give, like 10 average beats is worse than 1 good beat, okay? And I'm a big fan of producing a lot of beats during the day, but you can produce 10 beats in an hour, not in 10 hours. 10 beats should take you like 2 hours maybe, okay? So yeah, generally focus on being well rested. And remember, there is no like the best time for producing beats. So I don't want to lie to you that you will produce the best beat at 4 AM. No, this is not true. You will make a lot of good beats in night. You will make a lot of good beats in the morning and in the afternoon too. So you just need to check what works the best for you. But even if you just find out that, okay, I make the best beats in the morning, one day you will start producing at like 6 PM and you will make banger beat and you will sell it immediately. Okay, so there is no rule for producing the best beats, but you should aim for finding your best time block for producing during the day. Okay, so if you want to know more about selling your beats and producing better beats, go watch my other videos. If you have some questions, if you want to get some advice, free advice, you can just follow me on Instagram and DM me your question. I will try to respond. And we can also go on some free strategic call and we will look at your Generally, I will look at your channel, I will look at your beats, I will tell you how could you produce quicker, better and sell your beats in the most efficient way possible. So yeah, that's all for today. Subscribe me here on YouTube too. Bye!